What are some good festivals to submit your projects to and to attend? We're back with Jaclyn and Scott Michael Brannon in this members portion of the interview, and they're going to delve into the intricacies of navigating film festivals. Scott shares his unique perspective as a festival organizer and discusses the value of selecting the right festivals as a screenwriter, including personal anecdotes about mistakes and successes. We'll learn about strategic submissions, the importance of feedback, and how the right festivals can offer opportunities for your project and your career.
This is the Faith and Family Filmmakers podcast, helping filmmakers who share a Christian worldview stay in touch, informed, and inspired. Quiet on set. Rolling. Your hosts, Jeffrey and Jaclyn Whitt.
Welcome to the members portion of the Faith and Family Filmmakers podcast. My name is Jaclyn, and I've got Scott Brannon with me today. Welcome, Scott.
Hello. This is where it's going to get good. This is the good stuff.
That's right. Yes. We're going to talk a bit more about festivals, because festivals are one of those things where we've talked about it before and the value of festivals, of networking and things like that. But you've got the inside scoop being that you have organized your own festival, and you shared a little bit in the first interview of your goals with the festival and maybe some of your frustrations with festivals that you went to before then. But let's talk about some of the festivals that are moving in the direction of bringing value, because we don't want to just be like, I'm complaining about festivals. Let's talk about like the ones where you fully appreciate, hey, look, they're doing this. So what festivals do you see that are bringing value, whether they're producers, actors, writers, directors, whatever?
The ones that I hear the most about, I would have to say, is Creation. Do you know where that one is?
I don't, actually.
Creation is one. Content.
That's in Texas.
That one is, I hear that one a lot. Christian Worldview. Is that the one in Georgia?
That is.
Which is the one? It's Alex. Is that Alex Kendricks?
Albany. Yeah, it's in Albany, which we actually went to the one in 2024, except that when we booked our tickets, we accidentally booked for Albany, New York, and realized just 2 weeks ahead of time and had to rebook for Albany, Georgia.
Wow.
So that's what happens when you're Canadian and you don't know, hey, there's more than one city with the same name. Anyway.
This ain't the right Albany, eh? All right.
Right? Exactly.
That was my Canadian impersonation.
Yeah.
So that would be a good word of advice. Make sure you're going to the correct city for your festival.
Yeah,
that might be helpful when you get there.
Yeah.
So what happened to me was I want to mention also Hollywood Divine. I actually won the very, very first online festival. You go to filmfreeway.com and they have like literally I think there's 43,000 festivals worldwide.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
And I didn't quite have enough money to enter all of those, so I narrowed it down to a couple. The very, very first one I entered, and I won't mention the name of it, it's a Christian film festival, and I won't mention the name of it, but I won Best Script. And I was like, wow, I'm awesome.
That was
like,
easy,
I mean,
right?
Yeah, that was like, what's the big deal here? Like, everyone's like, oh, wow, these films. But here's the thing, since that time, it's been several years, but since that time I realized that particular one, I think everybody wins and everybody kind of gets a participation trophy, or you can buy a trophy or whatever. And so I realized quickly that there were some that were going to be more beneficial to me than others. And some of these that we've mentioned here that I think are really good ones, I think that you'll come away not just with a trophy or with a prize or with the bragging rights of, hey, I won first place or second place, third place, or runner-up or honorary. But more importantly, those festivals go one step further. They give you a place to go to next. Or, it's like it's not only to help you further your creativity, but it's also then to help you take your story and to get it to where it needs to go next. And that's really, I think that's the key to finding a good festival is which festival, and you can look these up and check them out online, what festival is going to be where I'm at now. Because the festivals that I went to a few years ago were great where I was at in my career a few years ago. But now that I've hopefully progressed a little bit better and know a little bit more, now I need something more than that. I've gotten some milk, that's great. But it's time to move on to some meat, and some of the festivals are better at that than others. And again, nothing against the festivals that are more milk, because you folks still need that.
You need that. So that's where you start.
You need that, yeah. But where's the meat? I mean, that's really where's the beef? That's where people are looking for. And so I think some of these that we've mentioned would be good. Here's another thing too: is it depends on, I think, where you are in the country too. It's like, there's some stuff, there's a ton of festivals in the California side of things, and those are great, but they're going to have a totally different feel maybe for your particular material, if you're more of I'll say a Midwest writer or something. So try to find like festivals. And I spend a lot of time researching the actual festival. I want to find out really what it's about. And I realize now, in the past, I sent a few things off and I was like, afterwards, I was like, wow, why did I send that to them? Because that was so not the right genre, to send to them. So I've gotten to that point now where I think I'm a little bit better at figuring out which ones are going to be better for me. But it takes a little bit of homework and some research. I like the ones that have sessions, and tracks. So they have like a writer's track. And you can go to those and you can really like learn from somebody who knows what they're doing. There's people who will help you with the actual content of your script itself, of the physical writing, maybe of the story structure. Maybe it's, after your script is finished and it's awesome and maybe it's about pitching. Or maybe you're at a point where you've kind of done all that and you're needing actual production or you're needing distribution or people that can really help you really begin that. But almost where we're at right now is I've got a project or two that it's like, wow, if somebody could call me tomorrow and go, yep, we like it, we're going to make it. But it's taken several years to get to that point. And I'm not saying that will happen, who knows. But by the way, this is totally unrelated, but if any of you out there have a few $1 million laying around, please send it in. That's
we've got a couple projects.
Yeah, that was a side note. That had nothing to do with anything we're talking about.
Just saying.
But that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, there's two things. When it comes to festivals, there's submitting your work and then there's also attending and networking, right? So like what you were saying, when you're looking for festivals to submit your work to, you want to be selective and make sure that you're actually submitting to the right kind of festival, that they're actually looking for what you have. Because you can spend a lot of money and not advance anywhere, right? And then also choosing a festival that if you do win something, it's going to mean something when you put that laurel on your project. Right. So when you go to pitch, if it's not already finished, right? If you want to use it to pitch, then you want to be able to say like, hey, I've won these awards. And you don't want them to go like, everybody wins those awards.
Let me say something, and I hope that people will be okay with me saying this, but I have won some awards at some Christian festivals, and that's great. The awards that I feel that mean more to me are when I send something that is of a faith-based Christian nature to a secular film festival, and then it places or it wins something. That means more to me because I feel like then like if you send something religious to a religious festival, you're probably competing with a lot less people and they're okay with your content. But if you're able to send what you're sending, even though it's religious, if you're able to send that in and people recognize that for not it being something weird and religious, but they're okay and can accept it, then I feel like that means that you've written it well enough, that's what helped make it place. I don't know if that made sense or not, but you know what I mean?
Well, because it shows that they've connected with your characters and with your story and they haven't felt like, ugh, this is propaganda. Where they've actually, they got it. And so, same for me. Whenever I've won at secular festivals, I'm like, wow, okay. So my message and my characters, my story is hitting home outside of the audience that already understands having a relationship and walking with God. Because sometimes we want to write stories that are for the believers, but sometimes we want to write stories that are going to hit people that would, whether they're seeking or open or, just you want to draw them in. And if you think about it, like we should be able to write stories like that. I can watch a movie that's about spies. I'm not a spy. I have nothing to do with spy world, but I can understand and enjoy a story and the character that's involved and all of that. And so I think it could be the same when you have a Christian character that's going through a situation from the perspective and through the lens of walking out their faith, that should be able to resonate in someone even if they're not Christian.
So I just looked up on Film Freeway, and so I also should mention the Branson International Film Festival. I think that's a good festival to send some stuff to. The ICVM Crown Awards, that's actually something that, even though it's ICVM, they actually do their award ceremony at NRB, the National Religious Broadcasters Conference, each year. And that's a good one. ICFF is large. ICVM, I think, is not as large, but it is very, it's good. Like, it's solid quality stuff. I'm going to share this, and this is crazy. I don't know if anybody's done this for you or not, but as a writer, I'm going to tell you how many submissions I have total on Film Freeway and how many of those were selected. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not making this up.
I'm going to look up mine too at the same time.
Okay. Now, this is of all the things that I've sent out, it might be, there's 5 of that and 10 of that and 2 of that, whatever, but I have 137 submissions. This is over the past like 4, 5, 6 years. 137 submissions. And of those, I have 77 selections or wins. It'd be award winner, finalist, semifinalist, quarterfinalist, nominee, or honorable mention, or just selection, just an official selection, which means it didn't place any of those other ones. But so 77 out of the 137. So that's a little bit over half. I have no idea if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's average. I don't know if that's, somebody's listening right now and going, wow, you need to find a different profession. I don't know. Or maybe there's people out there that, if you've sent to 137 things and you've only, gotten one selection, that might be an indication that maybe, you should do something different. But
and part of that might even be just doing better research on what you're submitting to.
It might be who you're sending it to is the problem, and that's not what they're looking for. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I was going to mention too, Austin. So there's a few of them that are not Christian that I know are actually like fairly decent. I think they're really well-ran festivals, and they're actually all connected. And I believe it's Atlanta Comedy Film Festival, Austin Film Festival, Comedy Film Festival, and there's an what's the other one? I'll look that up for us. But those are, that's, I actually got one. I got, somebody contacted me and said, hey, we want you to submit to our film festival. And I'm like, which one? And they're like, it's the Women's Atlanta Comedy Fest or something. And I was like, I am not female. And they're like, no. It's like, if you have a strong female lead, then you, that I have. Okay, I can send that for you. Yeah. So that was an interesting film festival. So. I've been to Rome International Film Festival. That is also a secular one, but that was a really good one. If you happen to be in Rome, do what the Romans do, and go to the film festival. It was really good. I'm trying to think of some other festivals that would be a really good suggestion for people. One of the larger ones is Naples International Film Festival. That's a secular one, but that's actually close to where I am down here in South Florida. That one's coming up actually pretty soon. Salty Earth Film Festival. That's a Christian one.
Yeah, there's so many. And some of them are smaller. And I want to encourage people not to dismiss a festival just for being smaller, because you can make some fantastic contacts at the smaller festivals. You really get to know people. You get to be able to share what your goals are, what you're working on, find people to collaborate with, especially if you're a beginner. It's a fantastic place to start, so that you can actually find people that you can work with and get a project moving forward.
I don't know if the people that are listening know that you and I wrote a script. It's entitled The Carols at Christmas. We actually won Best Family Feature Screenplay at the Big Apple Film Festival, and that's in New York. And I did some research on that one, and that was a pretty good one. They got us some free Zoom sessions with some producers and stuff that, it's real stuff, like people that you look them up on IMDb and they actually do something. Yeah, I'm at that point in life where if I look people up on IMDb and their number is, worse than mine, then I'm like, okay, that's pretty sad, because I'm like 14 million or whatever my number. I don't know.
Well, you want to surround yourself with people that are ahead. And I'm not saying like that you would dismiss people that are starting and maybe you want to help those people to get up to where you are at least, but you want to be able to pursue spending time with people that are better than you. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room, right? You want to be able to learn and grow, and you do that by surrounding yourself with people that are further
I don't have that. I don't ever have that problem that I hope that I'm. I didn't know if you know this or not, but I won Best Family Film Screenplay at the Cannes Screenplay Contest. And here's the thing, that's a perfect example of read where you're sending it, because that is not Cannes. That is not the real one. It's the Screenplay Contest. It does take place in, it is actually in the same town as the real one. But I was like, I was like, wow,
it's not
never mind.
Cannes.
I was like almost cool for the almost. It was so close, but then not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I looked up my submissions on Film Freeway.
All right.
So I have
bring it to us. Bring it on.
I have submitted to 61.
Okay.
And there was only 20 that I was not selected to participate in. And so, and most of the time I placed, somewhere between first and third.
So you're 40 out of 60.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
I'm,
60%? No. Yeah, 63% or something, 66%.
Yeah, I think that's better than me. Okay, well, this podcast's over. Thanks for sharing. We appreciate the...
No, but here's the thing. I am super strategic with what I submit to, because here's what I do. I give myself a budget, because otherwise you can go and find all the ones you want to submit to and then justify why you should spend that much money. Yep. So I start with giving myself a budget. And then I go and I select all the ones that I would want to go and submit to. And then, of course, it's 3 times my budget. So then I have to go through and be like, okay, if I have to eliminate one, what's it going to be? And I just keep eliminating until it's like, okay, now I'm within my budget. And then I go ahead and submit.
So another one that I did a screenplay called World Peace, and it's about 12 teenagers from 12 different countries. And I actually went through Film Freeway and found festivals from those 12 different countries and submitted to those countries to film festivals there because I wanted to kind of see their response to, because the goal was not to make fun of these, characters from some of it is, but
yeah, because there's some fun stereotypes.
Right, there's some stereotypes and stuff, but they got the humor in that. And so it was fun. I got some selections from that too. So from all over the world was kind of fun and kind of nice. And so that's what I'm trying to do is find the thing, obviously, and not just, okay, it's a Christian script, boom, okay. But, maybe there's some other specific category or subcategories of stuff that you could find in Film Freeway in those film festivals that would be strategic to place your particular piece in.
Yes.
And yeah, you're right. Do the homework and that will, I think, really pay off.
And that's the word too, strategic. Because same for me, when I started submitting, my first script that I started submitting, definitely a faith-based script. And so I submitted to faith-based festivals, yours being one of them. It was doing really well, placing first a lot of the time. So then I thought, okay, again, strategic, next step. I want to be able to see, does this stand up in international competitions? And so I started putting it into different countries, like Israel and Switzerland and Australia. And so I put it in these other festivals. And most of those festivals were not faith-based at all, but yet they placed. So then that way now, when I have all the laurels on my script poster, there's laurels from all over the world on there. And so it's not just laurels from faith-based American festivals. This is where I want to encourage people, be strategic. You want to definitely hit your first market because my first market is definitely the North American market. But I want to be able to prove that I have an international audience as well. And so that's kind of where I came with it. It's not about hey, I'm the best and I want to prove it with awards. It's more like, I want to prove that there's an audience for this, right? That's what it's about.
No, that's great. Well, of course, your favorite one is, entering the Beyond Entertainment Family Film Festival.
Absolutely.
I'm sure. Yeah. So I'll pay you later for the plug, but it's good.
I appreciate you sharing all of these different festivals too, because I think it means a lot coming from somebody who is a festival coordinator that you have your own festival, but then you're also talking about the value of all these festivals because we don't have to pick one. And I like also that you're not competitive about it in the sense of mine's the one that's going to do everything for you and make it all happen. It's okay, yeah, mine is definitely going to be a good piece of your journey, but so are these other ones.
Right. Yep. I was just looking up. I also won Best Screenplay at One Race, Human Race Film Festival. It's a diversity, and it was fun because I'm the whitest writer in the room, I'm sure. So it was fun. But my characters are diverse, and that's
exactly.
We write a little bit of everything.
That's what matters.
And so that was fun. That meant a lot to me. And I think that was in Georgia, I think. And great people, good festival. They did a great job. So. But yeah, it's all over the world. You're right. It's it's fun to be able to see this. And now let's look at the flip side of that. There's been some that I've sent some stuff in and thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna do well.
Yeah,
and then,
I know. Me too.
Didn't even get selected or it's ranked really, really low.
I was like, oh man, no, it wasn't even selected.
That's a good learning experience. So that's because okay, well, that tells me maybe there's some things that didn't quite play right that I need to kind of adjust and tweak. And this is, of course, where in the podcast, if you're listening and you're a writer, this is where we interject. You can have your family read your stuff, have your mom or, whatever, wife, but that's not a good indication. They will tell you that it's great no matter what. And so you have to also develop that point in yourself where you trust yourself. It's okay, who am I listening to? Do I really take their advice? Or if they're telling me it's great, are they being honest? Or are they just being nice? If they tell me it's horrible, are they being honest? Or is it really horrible? Whatever. And I think I think everybody kind of struggles with that, at some point. You want to feel like you've done something that's good, but maybe it still needs some help,
Yeah. And in the beginning, you want people to say, it's fantastic, I love it. But then after a while, you start to realize the value of people telling you what's wrong with
that doesn't
it
help
and
you anything.
Poking holes in it. Yeah. And so then you actually start to crave that where you you'll share it with someone and they'll tell you it's fantastic. You're like, no, come on, for real. What do I need to fix? What's wrong? And then if they don't tell you anything, it's I gotta find someone else then. This was useless. You want to find someone to poke holes in your story.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because it reminds me. So I have sent off a couple of scripts to have you pay extra and they give you feedback on your script. And I had one. It was my musical that I sent off, and a couple of notes were okay. I was like, okay, I can see that. And then one of the notes was, this particular scene, this is a waste of time and money, and it's got to further along your plot and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you obviously didn't read the whole script because without that scene, this page doesn't make sense and this doesn't make sense, and there's like a domino effect that if you took that particular out, and so it's like, okay, so again, you have to know, do I fully listen to this person? Okay, this is a good point, but maybe I'm going to stick to my guns on this one, and you'll develop that. You'll know. It's like I'm at the point where I know that what I've written is good and it's making sense, and then I also know, okay, it's lacking, and it doesn't mean I know what it needs and that I know how to make it right. It just means that I know that it's not right, and I need to either figure it out, spend some more time on it, or find somebody that can help me get that done.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why when I provide script notes, I like to actually, they give me the PDF and I actually put sticky notes right on the PDF, like it's a function that's in the software.
I think I have one of your sticky notes here from one of my scripts. It says, "What is this garbage?" is what your sticky note. No, I'm just
no,
kidding.
you don't.
I'm just kidding.
No, but it's right literally on the page. With the comment is about something on that page.
Perfect.
And so you can see there's comments on every page. So for sure I read the whole thing.
Perfect.
It's not like you've got 15 pages where there's nothing. There's something on almost every page because there's a lot of the time there's something that could be tightened or whatever on almost
because
every
page. I've gotten stuff back where it's basically the person goes, well, this story is about such and such and so and this person and da-da-da-da, and then they end up da-da-da-da. Like, yeah, I do. I know what the story's about. I wrote it. Thanks for your overview.
I was there.
That's not what I was looking for. So,
I got it.
Yeah. It's like, been there. Read that.
Yeah.
Too fun.
It's so valuable when you have someone that can actually give you that feedback where you know that they read the story, you know that they got what you were trying to do, and they can actually give you the direction of how to make it end up being what it is that you're trying to do. Because sometimes as a writer, even for myself, especially at the beginning, I would be trying to do something and I wasn't doing it right. It was not coming across well on the page. But then when I was with somebody who understood what I was trying to do and they're like, okay, here's how you have to do it in order to make it work. Well, now I can do something with that, right? That's exciting when you have someone that gets it and can help you actually make it be what you're intending to do.
Because not everybody that's reading your script is reading it in the same way for the same purpose. There's folks out there that maybe they're full-time writers or something, and that's what they do for a living. And so they're looking at it from a different perspective, and they're maybe making suggestions to you based on their particular situation that might not be exactly pertinent to your situation because you are not, I'm not saying you, but in general, the person might not be a full-time writer. And so you just have to learn when to take the notes and how to take the notes. And I think it takes a little while to do that, but if you're honest with yourself, then that's the key.
Yeah. And I've actually heard that there are people that when they give feedback on scripts, it's like they have to offer an idea or an alternative to go a completely different direction with things. And which I found, I didn't know that. And I got some feedback and I was like, what? Why are you telling me to change my story? Help me to finish the story I actually wrote. Don't help me to change everything, right?
Yep.
So that's where, like you were saying, you have to assess to figure out, is this actually what I want to do? Because some people, they might give you direction to go to tell a different story. And so if that's not the story I want to tell, this is the story I want to tell. And so I need to find somebody that can help me figure out how to tell this story.
Correct. Yeah, that's good. Something else I wanted to mention real quick, and I know we probably don't have a lot of actors and actresses that are listening to this because it's more about writing, obviously, but sure we do. Of course we do. But something that has been helpful is I try to have actors and actresses read the scripts we do read-throughs and stuff like that so that we can kind of get an idea of stuff. Let me turn it around on you. Sometimes it's helpful to see, they read that line differently than how I wrote that line in my head.
Yes.
And so is that how that line should be interpreted? Is that correct, or what was in my head correct? And there's also, I can say it this way too, is there's been some times when in read-through stuff, actors and actresses have read a line or something of mine and it was like, okay, that is not in any way, that was not the intention, or that was not it. And so It's difficult, I know, because a lot of times actors and actresses get the sides or something, just like a page or two or three or something.
Yeah, maybe they don't have the full context.
And they don't have the full context to know how to do this stuff. And then this is my favorite, not pet peeve, that's not a good word. My thing is it's funny to me is you have a character that have one line in your entire movie, one line, and the actor or actress that is reading that line is now stretching that line out. The line is something like, hey, everybody, let's get out of here, or something. But they're like, hey, everybody. It's just this really long. It's like, okay, just read.
I'm going to steal the show with my one line.
Yeah, it's like, you're an extra. Let's move it along. Yeah. So, it's like, now lead actors and actresses, they would never do that, of course. That's,
right,
no, it's just funny.
No, they won't drag out a scene. So when an actor reads your line differently than how you had heard it and meant to write it, then the question is, okay, did I not set it up properly? So is that a script issue? Or is it just a directing issue? That if they were directed, actually, here's the motivation, this is what it should be. Yep. And then they'd be like, oh, right. Okay. And then it all makes sense. And so some of that just comes down to being able to discern, is this a directing thing or is this a script thing?
I've had lots of times, though, where actors and actresses have, they've read it exactly how I heard it in my head when I wrote it. Exactly,
same.
like the timing, even if it was like a long, I always give the example, a countdown is a script I wrote, and there's the doctor just literally gives the news to a person that they have 6 months to live. It's a deep moment in time, and there's a very long pause until that doctor has his next line. Obviously, it's not like, you're going to pass away. Be sure to validate or something on the way out. It's like there'd be some time, and there was an actor who read for that, and man, to the exact beat in my head, had that dramatic pause, and then said his second line, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" So
yes,
cool. Still gives me chills to think about that. So yeah,
some of that
a good actor
comes down
can really,
to casting.
take your stuff to the next level. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and when they're casted well,
Did you just say casted?
I did. I hear people say that, and I'm like, I think that's how you say it, right?
No, it's okay. You're from Canada. We'll let it go, eh?
Goodness.
Okay.
Okay. People listening to this podcast regularly, they're going to hear me say it both ways, and I never really know which is correct. You're just going to have to forgive me. Okay. I am not a casting agent or whatever, and I just write
casted
stuff.
Agent, I think. Sorry.
Oh, enough about me. Okay, so I was doing a table read for one of my scripts, and there's this one character who is super, super funny, but he's only funny because he's sincere. He's not trying to be funny. And so I was like, okay, I have to find somebody who has that kind of timing, who can deliver that line with complete sincerity so that they can get the laugh without intending to get the laugh, right?
Yep, that's great.
And, oh, man, Dale Norman Green, nailed it. Thank you, man. Dale, I am so going to fight for him to be casted in that role.
I see what you did there, yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Anyways, he just did such a fantastic job. So yeah, when you get the right person for the role, they get it. Yeah.
John Goad. I don't know if you know John Goad or not, but he's actually been to our film festival.
He's going to be on the podcast.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that dude is he's phenomenal. We could spend a whole podcast talking about John. And
well, I will actually, because I'm going to be interviewing him. So our listeners will get to know him soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much because we could talk.
I'm going
to
slip him a 5 to see if he'll say something nice about me during the podcast. Now I'll see if he.
Do you know how many people have said nice things about you already on this podcast? He would just be one of many.
Oh, that's nice.
Just saying.
That's so nice.
But okay, we could easily talk forever about screenwriting and festivals and all of that, but we do need to wrap things up. So I want to thank you so much for being here and for sharing your insights on how to approach festivals and submissions and all of that, and for sharing your own journey. And I pray that God blesses your projects. I know you are incredibly talented, and you are one of those people that it's like you wonder, okay, God, it's okay if you want to hide me like Esther until, the right time, but pretty sure any day now, ready to launch into this thing, because he's given you so many projects and you've been faithful to actually write them. Do everything that you're capable of doing with it. You've invested your own money. You have not just kind of sat there and waited for God to show up and make it all happen. You've put in your effort. And so I pray that God is going to release you into full-time production and making things move forward, because I also appreciate the messages that you share in your stories.
I appreciate you. I thank you for having me on, and we appreciate what you're doing here with your school, I guess, is the academy.
We call it academy. Yes.
Academy, yes. So the academy. And this is good, and I appreciate it, and thank you very much. I'm just at that point where, you know what? It's just not about me. It's about God. And so if something becomes of all this, that's great. And if not, it kept me out of trouble for a while. So that's good.
There's that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Faith and Family Filmmakers podcast. If you would like email reminders about newly released episodes and more, please sign up at faffpodcast.com/email. That's faffpodcast.com/email. Bringing filmmakers together for faith and family.
That's a wrap.